The all-new 2026 Hyundai IONIQ 9. It's massive, luxurious, and pretty expensive. In this video, I'll talk about what this thing is from a technical standpoint, how I feel about the interior space, and what it's like to drive it, so let's get started. So the IONIQ 9 is the biggest electric SUV that Hyundai has ever released, and its mission is to take on cars like a Rivian R1S, Tesla Model X, or even a Volvo EX90. So it's a family three-row SUV which starts at around $59,000 and can get up to almost $80,000. But more on that in a second. First, let's talk about what this thing is from a technical standpoint. So this thing sits on Hyundai's E-GMP platform, which is the fully electric 800-volt architecture used by the entire Kia and Hyundai lineup and some Genesis products too. It features a strut front suspension and a multilink setup in the back combined with conventional non-adaptive dampers, and I think that's a mistake, and we'll get to that in the driving impressions. I think this car actually should have adaptive dampers. Now, all models are equipped with a 110 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and we can split the powertrain into three buckets. Base, 215 horsepower rear-wheel drive in the S trim, offering 335 miles of range starting at $59,000. Then we have a 303 horsepower all-wheel drive for SE and SEL trims with 320 miles of range, and the SE starts at around 62 grand, SEL at 66. Finally, we have a 422 horsepower all-wheel drive in the Limited and Calligraphy, which respectively start at $71,000 and $75,000. Those have around 311 miles of range. So as we're talking about all this electric stuff, the new IONIQ 9 is actually Hyundai's first model to feature NACS charging port, also known as Tesla's charging port, which means we can use Tesla superchargers without any adapters. Now, one thing to know about Tesla superchargers though is that they're not as fast as some of the CCS DC fast chargers, meaning you can get this thing from 10% to 80% in about 40 minutes. But no worries, you can still use fast charging stations with a CCS adapter that comes with the car, and if you go that way, that will decrease the charge time from 10 to 80% to about 24 minutes. Obviously, the most convenient and inexpensive way is to charge at home using an AC level 2 wall box. And if you take that approach, getting from 0 to 100 should take around 10 hours. Now, before we talk what it's like to drive the new IONIQ 9, let's take a look inside and talk about the interior space. Okay, so we're inside the new IONIQ 9. Man, I don't even know where to start. There's so much going on in here. How about styling? So when you look at this cabin, it has a little bit of that retro 80s design, just like the exterior, and everything about it is pretty impressive. The material choice is amazing. Things that should be soft to the touch are soft. We have different kinds of textures, and on top of that, everything is well put together, yet again showing that Hyundai is not what it used to be, and they already surpassed the Japanese rivals. Another area where they excel in is ergonomics. We have a good amount of physical controls for things that we use pretty frequently and require easy access, and that just shows that it is still possible in 2025 or 2026 to design a modern, great-looking cabin without lowering the usability. Now, same when it comes to technology. The infotainment system has a super friendly interface, and despite of a lot of options and menus, everything is logically structured, and figuring things out should take you no time. Also, the system supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so many of you will appreciate that. The gauge cluster is nice and clean, not crazy customizable, and my only gripe is that you're not able to display a navigation map on it. Everything else works great, super easy to read, and you have all the information that you need. Now, the usability. As with most EVs that are built on a dedicated platform, it's fantastic, and that's where this car shines. There's plenty of storage across the cabin, including center console, which slides front and back and has like 20 million compartments. We have plenty of smaller compartments throughout the interior, and the trunk is also enormous, especially after folding all seats down. So as of cabin space, this thing offers everything you need in your family SUV. The front seats are very comfortable. You can easily drive this thing on a full battery charge and not feel fatigued. They're heated and cooled and have pseudo massage mode that inflates certain parts of the seat to help with the fatigue. Now, moving to the back, the second row is very easy to access. Door opens pretty wide and it's gigantic. You can choose between a bench with 3 seats or 2 captain's chairs, which in our top Calligraphy trim are electric. And I think I can risk a statement that this is the biggest midsize SUV in terms of space in the second row that you can buy today. We obviously have USB-C charging ports and third zone climate control. Now, despite all that space in the second row, the third row is rather tiny and it's really intended for kids. I mean, you can fit an adult there for short distances, but I wouldn't recommend that. So overall, the cabin is super practical, very usable, and very pleasant, especially in this light interior color combination. Now, the question is what it's like to drive the new IONIQ 9. Well, let's head into our favorite back road and check it out. Okay, so we're behind the wheel of the new IONIQ 9. Now, one of the things that I most appreciate about Hyundai's EVs is how well calibrated their powertrains are and how easy to drive they are. I mean, you can be driving a car with an internal combustion engine for your entire life and then one day realize, hey, you know what? I want to try an EV, so what should I get? And 9 out of 10 times, my answer would be an EV from Hyundai. First of all, the calibration of this powertrain, like I said, is amazing. It's very easy to drive this car. It's not like you're fighting it. It's not like you get frustrated by one pedal drive or some other quirks of electric vehicles. It's super, super nice and smooth. So if we talk about one pedal drive and the drive modes that this car offers, right? We can have 3 different ways to use regenerative braking, meaning as you slow down, as you lift up the accelerator, the car is gonna start to slow down, regenerate some energy that it's gonna transfer it back to the battery, so you will have a little bit of extra range. So we have level 0, which means if you lift up the accelerator, the car just glides and sails. Nothing happens. If you want to slow down, you hit the brake. Level 1 engages a little bit of regen braking. Then we have level 2, a little bit more. It's one of my favorite modes because you can still drive somewhat smoothly and recover some energy. Level 3 is going to be more aggressive, and then I-pedal or one pedal drive is the most aggressive mode, meaning we accelerate, lift up the accelerator, the car noticeably slows down. It requires some time to get used to this thing, but you know what? Once you learn how to drive it, you'll be able to maximize the efficiency of your EV drivetrain to the max, and it's gonna be pretty nice. Now, we have 422 horsepower on board in our Calligraphy tester, and it's fast. It gives you basically all you need in a 3-row midsize SUV. It has just enough power and torque, and you also don't get hit with that instantaneous torque right away. It's very nicely balanced, so you can very nicely and smoothly accelerate, and that's one of the biggest advantages of Hyundai's EVs. They've been working on those for more than a decade at this point, put a lot of money and effort into it, and it is paying off. I think besides GM electric vehicles, Hyundai makes the best EVs on the market. Now, we have 422 horsepower on board, so you might think, wow, this thing is going to be fast. Well, it is fast. Like I said, it's just adequate, but you might ask what it's like to drive this thing a little bit more aggressively. Well, let's find out. The suspension is very softly sprung. We're going to get to the suspension setup in a minute because there is one complaint that I have about it, but what surprised me, as with most EVs, is that this car doesn't feel like a complete boat. You have a little bit of confidence in corners, and if you really try, the fact that this is a rear bias all-wheel drive system, you can try to get it to rotate a little bit. It helps a little bit with driving dynamics, but again, it's a huge, massive 3-row SUV that is not meant to be driven dynamically. But like I said, if there's a quick maneuver that you have to make, or you really want to take that on-ramp a little bit faster, the IONIQ is not trying to kill you or flip over. It's actually gonna stay pretty stable. Alrighty, this car is not meant to do all those shenanigans, so let's go into normal mode and talk about what's one thing that I don't like about this car, and it is the suspension tuning. Like I said, it is softly sprung. It does an amazing job filtering out all the road imperfections. It is a very nice, plush, and pleasant experience to an extreme. And what I mean by that is Hyundai has not yet figured out how to have a good body control in their cars. When we go over any bumps, expensive joints, road imperfections, there is a lot of that left to right movement, some head toss. You feel like your body is basically, you feel like you're on a boat, and it's not a pleasant experience. And I bet if we have passengers riding in the second or third row, they might just get car sick, because that's how softly tuned this car is. I think at this price point, we're talking about $70,000, Hyundai should go with adaptive dampers, and they should probably outsource something from ZF, because what they do in-house, they just haven't figured that out yet. Like I said, ride comfort is excellent. It nicely soaks up all the road imperfections, even though we have 21-inch rims on our tester. Going over bumps is pleasant, but then again, there's like so much stuff that gets transmitted basically into your body that makes it a bit unpleasant. But to be honest, that's the only complaint I have about this car. The cabin isolation is amazing. Hyundai put a lot of effort into reducing NVH. First of all, we have an electric drivetrain, so there's no noise, vibration, harshness coming from the drivetrain. We have acoustic side windows, front and back, which is amazing. We have a lot of deadening materials inside the pillars, inside the doors, which make this a very, very quiet experience. And I think the last car that I drove that was that quiet was a Genesis G90, and that's a huge compliment. We obviously have active noise cancellation. There are microphones that are located around the cabin that pick up the noise and then play inverted waves, kind of like a noise cancelling in your headphones. Also, the technology implementation is great. I mean, it's a Hyundai, so we have very easy to use infotainment system. We have level 2 semi-autonomous driving system, which Hyundai calls highway driving assist. You can drive hands-free on some highways. The car is not gonna beep at you every 10 seconds that you have to put your hands back on the wheel. It will actually let you drive hands-free as long as you look straight ahead on the road. It can even automatically change lanes for you. It's not at the level of Super Cruise that GM offers in their products, but it is very, very good. And overall, yeah, it's a pleasant driving experience. It's super well isolated. It's very quiet. It's massive inside. With this light interior, you feel very nice and cozy. So yeah, Hyundai did a very, very good job with the IONIQ 9. As we all know, they're not a brand that they once used to be. There's still some minor tweaks they have to do with the suspension, but besides that, I'm pretty impressed. So let's head into the final thoughts and summarize this thing. Okay, so let's sum up the new Hyundai IONIQ 9. It's a pretty impressive vehicle in many aspects. First of all, interior space. Not only does it feel nice and it's made of good quality materials, it's also super practical, and I bet you it will meet all of your family needs. Second of all, it's also very comfortable. It has amazing seats, it has very good ride quality, minus the fact that there is still a little bit of that head toss and the body control isn't all that great overall, but that by all means does not disqualify this car. Another big aspect is that the electric drivetrain is very efficient. I've been averaging around 3 miles per kilowatt hour on a highway, 3.5 in a city, and that's a very strong result with a 110 kilowatt hour battery pack. You're looking at realistically more than 300 miles of range in this fully equipped Calligraphy trim. So is Hyundai ready to take on things like Tesla, Volvo, or Rivian? I think in some aspects it's actually better. The usability is great. We still have physical controls for many core functions that any other electric cars don't have, and driving this thing is super easy. That's what I always say about Hyundai and Kia's EVs. You get in this thing and you know what's where, how to use this car, and it's not a frustrating experience. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about this thing, drop a comment and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.